Good morning, everyone. Nice to be on the same time zone. How are you, Steph?
Hi! Oh my gosh, we're together! Look at that, guys!
Ta-da. We are on a green screen, but not a green screen for a change.
Oh yeah.
We're using a different mic setup today, so please let me know if you're hearing us okay. Give us feedback right now if you could as a message, because I'll adjust it if needs be. So Steph and I are in New York at the moment. We've been filming for the last 2 days, and then today we've got a portraiture workshop that we're running together with some students that are coming in a few hours. And then we've got a big day of filming on Sunday as well, and then Monday I fly to LA. Steph's got some auditions and stuff going on, and so it goes. So it's really nice to be back on the road. So we thought, being that it's the start of the month, why don't we just squeeze this in and do it face to face rather than waiting a couple of days to do it another day. So I already saw in the chat we have Mark, Edward, Karsten. Thank you for joining us, guys. Nice to have you with us finally, Karsten. You're probably our most regular contributor. So it's nice to have you live in the room today as well.
Oh, Yobo!
Yobo! Hi, Yobo.
Hello!
So some news that I spotted online. This is always, it seems it's the way that Nikon does it now. They always release a development announcement when a new product is coming, but they put up a development announcement for the ZM, which is apparently, I guess it's the same mount, because everyone was talking about that the mount on the Nikon Z is so big it could fit a bigger sensor. So using a medium format sensor, I'm guessing it's going to be the same kind of size as things like the Hasselblad X2D use, because it's not that much bigger and it's kind of a bit more of a square shape, so it would fit fairly easily, I think. But apparently this was kind of leaked, well, not leaked, but put up in error, because half an hour later it got taken down as well. So it'll be interesting how many of you guys are shooting in the Nikon Z system and how many would be interested to move to a medium format sensor if it actually does give coverage. Yobo saying we have a little bit of echo. Someone saying stop. I hope that's not about the audio. Jerry saying it sounds fine, so that's good. I should have tried this before going on camera. Not great. I was quite excited that I managed to use the manual espresso, but not great. Anyway, let us know any questions that you guys have, folks. We have a few, maybe a dozen or so entries for this month's competition, which is weather. And I'm thinking for April, let's make the theme shadows. So if you're not following already, check out my second Instagram account, Art Nude Portraiture. We shared a shot that Steph and I did using a cool shadow pattern that, for that page, which has much fewer followers than my regular page, it's gotten like more than double the likes of anything we've ever shared on that page. So I thought it's all down to the shadow pattern that we created in that one, so maybe that's a cool theme. So it doesn't have to be a portrait, but where it's the shadows that's in the image that's making it work for you. Yes, well, if there's no questions now, then please fire away with them to answer a little bit later. Sorry, I'm looking at 3 things at once. But let's take a look at our photos that we've had entered. Let me just bring them all up. So let's make you full screen. Sorry guys, it's a little production, and every time you're in a new space you gotta refigure out all of the process. So let's take a look at our first shot. Now I thought I would just put them with no names, so it's a little bit of a surprise, but I do kind of remember, I think, everyone who entered them, because there's only a dozen or so this week. So I googled, what would you say is the actual definition of weather?
I mean, I guess sun, rain, sleet, snow, like just any.
So that's pretty much it. It's like it's what's going on in the atmosphere and how that's manifested. So for example, cold isn't weather, but wind is weather, rain is weather, sun is weather, I think in the technical definition. So I just wanted to keep that in mind because there was a shot that we have entered where I'm like, I mean, if you're taking a shot outdoors, it is weather because, you know, it's the weather.
Technically.
But I didn't know if it really qualifies. But this one, so this is a mannequin. Do you know the character?
I do not know, but I think that is like really creative.
Let's have a look in there. I think it's I had a bit extra done because there's way too many strands of water there for the amount of water drops that are actually on the thing. So I think I might prefer it actually if it were just a shot. Yeah, this one, it looks like the rain has kind of been added. That's not just like a slow shutter effect in my opinion.
I think the only real water is the water that's on the hat.
Well, there may be some dropping, but there's some little drops there, but yeah, it's hard to see. It's like almost had a texture put over the shot rather than what it is. So
you can use glycerin to cheat this, actually.
For the drops, yeah, but for the rain, just getting it a bit wet and a slow shutter, you can get something close to this, but this would be so much rain, it would, I don't think that's real.
It would drown out your set.
Still cool. This one, okay, so I'm just recognizing, I often talk about people need to be using a calibrated screen. I can see this shot, to my eye, looks overexposed because I'm using not my screen to review the images right now, but looking at the histogram, it isn't overexposed, so the shot is fine. This screen that I'm looking at is a bit over. Just bringing it down, I'm only bringing it down for my sake on my screen, now that looks better. I just don't think there's enough there to really hold us. Yes, it's the spring coming through from the winter, so if we're talking seasons, that's a kind of a nice shot. I think it might work better if you had it in a bit closer. So
I was gonna say crop it in. Depth of field is real tight.
I don't think, like, a lot of this isn't really adding much to the shot, but coming in really tight, so we're just focused in on the new growth coming through the ice. I think that works, but yeah, I agree. Having this in sharp focus, then this tiny band, but having this out, I think it's too little, to be honest. I think you could, this is shot at f3.2, 1/640th of a second. You could certainly use a slower shutter speed and a higher f-stop. Feel free to send in your thoughts on the different shots we're getting here too, folks. What do you think of this one, Steph?
Whoa, I really like the colors. It reminds me of Iceland. Is it Iceland?
Could be Iceland. Yeah, Iceland isn't all about ice. So I was going to say it could be Scotland or New Zealand, but I don't know that they would have those glaciers.
And like the black sand beach type of feel. That's what it reminds me of. Well, I mean, it is leveled, right? Yeah.
This is actually the one where, and I've now put names up there, which I was not planning to do through these shots. Oh, it's gone now. So the weather here is cloudy.
Yeah.
The fact that there's green and icebergs and water, that's not a phenomenon of weather, that's a thing of geography, because the icebergs are there in summer and winter and whatever.
I feel like the clouds, they don't really add much, I guess. My attention is not drawn to the clouds. Yeah.
But yes, I agree. But if we're talking what makes the image, if it were a blue sky day or raining or these kind of clouds, it does make a big difference on the image. So perhaps the fact that the top kind of mirrors the bottom and it's just gray without distractions, maybe it helps to concentrate our eye on how rich and vibrant the green and everything is. If you wanted to punch up the sky a little bit, the new tools here they're just ridiculous how well they work. So how quickly you can mask the sky, and then if you wanted to add in a little bit of drama to the sky, it's what are we doing now? Is it this key? Yeah, so that's like super simple to do, 2-second edit, but nice one. This looks like a tiny low-res iPhone. No, it's not. That's a 4160 file. That's hard to believe. Yeah, that looks like it was the tiny shot that's then been up-resed.
Honestly, it feels kind of like a grab shot. It's like the sun's there, and then it's like the tree's there. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna. Well, I'm doing this because I think it looks like an iPhone shot. But
it's a teachable moment though. So to your eye, what you were probably seeing was the setting sun, the beautiful orange sky, and then the silhouette of the trees. What we're seeing is the 40 sign, the messy snow. Snow can be beautiful, but the reality is when it's piled up, it's just a mess. And the light pole or the flag pole, whatever this is, over on the side, and the trash cans, and we're seeing all of that junk. So I don't know what camera you were using, but the sky, if you're trying to show the colors, it's blown out. And I really think, despite this saying that it has, yeah, you can see the compression here. Despite this saying that it's a high-res file, I think there's no integrity to the file. So the edit I'm about to do is probably just going to go all pixelated and crap because there's nothing there to work with. But basically, the shot is up in here. So if you had a shot like up here and you had actually underexposed it more so that we got the colors coming through, you could grab the oranges and bring down the exposure a little bit, bring up the saturation. It's falling apart, but
yeah.
I think that's probably what drew you to the image. But having said that, it's the only thing here that really speaks to weather is the piles of snow. The sky itself isn't really a weather phenomenon to me. So thank you for entering. Just spend a little bit more time with thinking about your composition when you're in the field, and then also in edit. And a tip for those who are trying to meet my criteria of having it be 4,000 pixels or roughly on the long edge, if you start out with a really low res file and then export it, and so it's kind of trying to grow the image for you, it's going to look kind of terrible unless you use specialized software, and then still it's not so great. Okay, this is an interesting one. So a rainy day, palm trees, so maybe if this were like California, the fact that it's a rainy day is maybe noteworthy already. But then lots of coastal areas like
yeah, it looks like Florida.
Yeah, raining all the time. Look, if we compare it to the other shots we've had, it's an interesting take. At least it's being a reflected shot. What are you thinking?
Oh, sorry. I usually try to like kind of like see what frame would work. I like the reflection. The matte is a little distracting, but like if this is Florida, sometimes it like floods a little bit, so a lot of things like move.
So the what is a bit distracting?
The matte with the flowers. Is that a matte, or is that just like, oh, that is sidewalk art, isn't it?
I don't know.
It looks like it's sidewalk art.
Yeah. Oh, you were thinking it's like a
like a floor mat. Yeah, like a
just
doormat.
falling into place. I don't know, but I guess it's kind of mirroring the shape of the thing. I don't know. I feel like there's something there, but actually.
What would it look like as a black and white?
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like there's something there, but I don't know that this has it really. Let's take a look if we. That there could be something with the structure, but we're kind of now we're trying to find graphic elements that work in an image, but we're kind of going
weather.
Exactly. So it's no longer really a weather shot. So the fact that it's rainy and we've got palm trees and now the sun is out, that's telling us something. The shot is working due to the weather. It's definitely an interesting take on the weather theme, but again, I'm not sure that there's enough to hold us there. Having said that, before we move on, the point of this competition isn't to see who has the wildest weather. it would be unfair to just give the shot to, one that's
In the middle of a
crazy,
blizzard
that's shot
or
at
something.
Antarctica or something, because that's not, the point of this isn't about who has the access to the most extreme locations. It's which shot is working best because of the weather. So, creative shot. Okay.
There's like a weird, I don't know, it's like dark in between the branches.
Yeah. At first you think, oh, kind of eerie, atmospheric, the edges are all kind of blurred down, but then pretty quickly it jumps out. I'm sorry to whoever edited this, but this is pretty shoddy. They've gone through to brighten up the whites in the background with a brush and just missed everything inside the tree, and it just stands out like crazy. You can do that quite easily, just getting the whole, see now I can't do it because I'm doing the background and it's missing all of that. But there's lots of tools in Lightroom and Photoshop that will help you do that will do a much better job and be easier on you, because you don't need to be using a brush to try and paint it in there. But as it is, it looks quite weird.
Yeah, but it's not bad. I like the concept though. I think if you were to just kind of clean up the shot.
So better editing.
Yeah.
And then have a think about what composition really works best. This is so central. I don't know, in a way it works because your disappearing point is behind it, so it's whited out there in the background. It kind of works. Then you've got the hedges or the trees on either side. So putting it, if we just put it to one side of center, the ice is quite nice on this side, so let's bring it in this way. It might make an overall better balanced shot, but I'm not too sure. I feel like the whole thing could use a little bit better edit. Now the vignetting could be natural because you were shooting at f1.4 on a 35mm lens. For a shot like this, and it's your shot, so you do what you like, but having a really shallow depth of field where this part of the foreground is out and it's just the tree, the duck, and a few stems that are in, then the trees are out again, it's not really typical. And if you want to be able to edit the detail that's in the trees in the background, you actually need to have them somewhat sharp. So shooting this at f1.4 and 1,000th of a second, you could go to at least f4 and still have it at a hand-holdable speed and have a little bit more depth. That'll give you more to edit. If you're just going for the really dreamy look, so you want all of the fog to overwhelm the shot, totally fine, shooting it wide open. Just be careful with the edit because it looks like this tree is full of spider webs. When you see those trees.
Oh god, yeah, I'm good. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about that.
We have some questions coming in.
Oh.
Great, we will answer those shortly. Now, there are 2 shots that were entered, and thank you. The name of slips my mind right now, but it was a father who was also entering a shot for his, I think, 9-year-old daughter, and checked that it was okay to send 2 emails from his email address with different submissions for different people, which is fine. But for me, it was quite interesting. I wondered, Dad, did you do the edit on the shot? Because they both have a similar thing going on and a very similar edit, even though the shots aren't identical or taken at the same place. So this is one of them, father or daughter, leave it to you guys to think about. But what do you think of the actual shot here, Steph?
I think the framing I like. I think if the sun was a little bit more central, it looks like it's more towards the left, or maybe that's where I'm just positioned. But I think the editing was just a bit overdone.
It's extremely vibrant to the point of the color channels are at the extreme. Like, you couldn't push them any further. That blue is the bluest it can be, and I appreciate that sometimes sunsets and stuff look unbelievable to the eye, but this just looks, the term we use is overcooked. The edit looks really overcooked. And the contrast as well, like the blacks in the corner, that's not just the vignette or something, that's been darkened down like crazy. I guess that's been done to make the silhouette as crisp as possible, so the black channel has just been pulled all the way down. I think there's something here, but I think if you just like halved the slider that you did on everything in this edit, it would look a lot more realistic and probably less jarring. Let's jump back and see what questions we have. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on those images too.
We're like twinning it today.
Yeah, we are too, and we're both wearing jean
jeans.
bottoms. It's April 1st, and we were thinking, should we, announce our engagement or something as a joke? But then I decided we better not, because we keep trying to play down the idea people have that we're a couple and not friends. So better not make a joke.
You should have just gone the opposite, like, oh yeah, we're not gonna work with each other ever again after today.
I talked too much rubbish. Steph finally kicked me in the head, and my pride is now damaged. I'm out. Jerry is saying that yes, it's sidewalk art, and it was Southern California, so there you go. Other people agreeing to crop it. Photorescent, what do you think of the Canon EOS R5 getting the opportunity to do 200 megapixel shot with firmware update? It's not keeping me up at night. What can I say? I don't shoot Canon, I don't own an R5, I know you do, so I'm happy for you, but I mean, what do you want me to say? That camera got a firmware update, that's great.
Flip that, do you like it? If you like it, that's all that matters, right?
As long as it's implemented well, more features, more options, the better, why not? Jerry, travel photography
can be run and gun.
Can you provide suggestions for improving the percent good given? So how to improve your travel photography when you're in a rush, I guess, is it.
Yeah.
There'd be a few things. At the very beginning, so any event, if it's like you're at a festival or something, there's going to be a rhythm, so just kind of observing how things go. Do they, just thinking, they're behind the camera right now, there's a picture of it looks like a Fijian tribal elder or something. So if you're at their ceremony, they're probably going to do the same thing multiple times. So watching, when do they pour the tea? When do they do the dance? When do they hit the gong? That kind of thing, so that you're able to time out the next one. That's a really good way. So basically, if it is something that's a bit repetitive, watching the first one without your camera just to take it all in is a good way to get the vibe. Two, if you're able to go with a local, that makes things so much easier. I would say, I don't know, a good half of the travel shots I get that are my favorites have come when I've had a local get me in and get me access to somewhere that we otherwise couldn't have, or that you then get access to photograph more things than a normal tourist would. And that might be 1% of the time, but it yields 50% of the great images. So that's something we try to do a lot on our tours. Thank you for the chance to plug my Kyrgyzstan trip.
Do you have any tours coming up?
I would say be aware of where are your light sources, whether if you're indoors right now, so where we've lit ourselves right now, but coming in here, I noticed the other day, it has 4 white lights in the corners, 4 warm lights in the middle of the room, and depending on where I was putting Steph when we were shooting her in here, you're getting totally different results. So whether it's indoors or outdoors using the sun or overhead lights, you might just want to be aware that that corner of the room has the softest, most flattering light. If someone's walking towards me here, they get a really cool backlight, but if they're walking away from me, then the shot's not going to work. Have a think about that so you can time when an interesting person goes into the right kinds of pools of light. Other than that, another good one would be try to not be shooting from the exact same, from the easiest vantage point. If you do a bus tour of Paris, the bus will stop at the top of the promenade, so you can take that shot looking down the grass straight at the Eiffel Tower and get the same postcard perfect shot that 50,000 tourists got that day. The laying on your stomach, climbing up a tree, walking 90 degrees to get an alternate viewpoint, you're going to get more interesting shots if you're not standing with the pack. I think that's enough. Karsten Larson, are you coming to Europe this year? I hope so. I feel like my year's filling up quickly, but it is only April, so I hope so. Where are you actually based, Karsten? Is it like Denmark or Sweden or something like that? Let me know. Peter is saying, where are the shadows from those people in this shot? It looks like they're underneath the ridge, and I think they're a long way away.
Yeah.
So I don't think we would see their shadows, and the sun's coming over the ridge, so you guys can't see the shot anymore. Is that all the questions? Okay, last one, and then we'll jump back. Photorescent, would you be okay to be interviewed by a starting YouTuber? Are you the starting YouTuber? Is it your friend? I'm open to doing anything like that. I just have to, like, you know, I don't have a giant ego, but like anyone, I have to manage my time. So if I get asked to, and I don't get asked that often, it's not like I'm impossible for time. So if it's 20 minutes and it's on a day or a week where I have some time and it's for you, then the answer is most likely yes. If it's from some other channel that's just getting started, I'm happy to try and help. But if it's 2 hours of emailing, half an hour of setup, an hour of the call, and then this sounds so egocentric, and then it's going to get 20 views, it's not worth either of our time, to be honest. So in that case, not really. It would be better to wait until there's a bit of an audience or an issue that needs me, like that I can actually add something to. The fact that I have a lot of audience doesn't mean that you're just going to suddenly gain an extra few hundred subscribers by having me on. The reality is the algorithm probably won't show your video to anyone, and it just is a time suck.
Yeah, YouTube is hard.
So contact me, and I'm not being hard on you, but when I get these messages like asking for favors or help or something, it's like they're often so, like, what's the right word? So casual and like trying to not care almost. Like, hey, what do you think about donating 3 cameras to me? And it's like, if you really want like that, or coming on this show, or I've had people wanting me to join and be a guest on something they're doing where, I don't know, they're so casual about it, like they don't want to make any effort. And it's like, I appreciate you not writing me a 10-page email that I have to read, but you could at least put a little bit of detail in there. Like, you want me to do something, why do I need to chase and ask for all the details? You could tell me what, where, when, why, how much, that kind of thing, so I have the information to make a decision. So thank you. I see you have a question there, Carsten. We'll come back to it. Let's take a look at some more pictures. Everyone else, send them in. Happy to answer questions that you have. And it is a bit unnatural on these top 2 zones.
On everything.
It's hard to tell. There kind of is. I feel like, the whites have probably been pushed and the mid-tones have been dropped. And looking at the histogram, it looks like, I think there has been quite a bit of work done. I think if you just got rid of the little halo on the edge of the whites, then it would kind of work. Not a criticism, but this is a shot that would look, I think, pretty spectacular, printed like 6 foot in diameter, across. But on a computer screen, we're not really getting it, because I feel like in all of these ice and stuff, I feel like there's amazing, crazy detail that would be really nice to see, but we can't get it all out.
The bench and like that secondary trash can is kind of like what distracted me.
I think this is an amazing location where I would definitely fall over and crack my tailbone. But I feel like there is a fantastic shot here.
Black and white, maybe?
Along this railing with all of the ice and then the water behind, or in closer just with the railing and just with the stools. I don't think, whilst the signs are interesting, I don't know that that's the most interesting part. I feel like being right down the end just with like one chair, and it's like, it's the last place you can go to hang out, and it would feel like solitude, the end of the world kind of thing. I feel like there is a great shot there, but I don't know that this is the best vantage point on it. It's kind of not a helpful comment because I haven't been there and I have no idea.
I hope you were safe shooting this though, because that looks very dangerous.
it could have also just been right next to a car park and we're just big babies. He could be Canadian and this is just a Tuesday for him or her. I do like the shot and I do think there's potential there. I do think the editing is a little over. You've kind of got two distinct zones. The background is like, it was a dark and stormy night on the sea, and then this is like ultra sharp, contrasty. It kind of goes because you're trying to say that the weather is just fogging it up, but yeah, a little bit of
Not too much.
a little bit of artifacting. Now this one, you can probably guess, is the brother or sister image to the previous one. And actually, that was only 2 ago, so just take a look at the editing style on this and the colors and the vividness, and then this, and then this. I mean, they're obviously twins, right? And you see it become, when you look at it in isolation after a while, you're like, oh, that's, I guess it's red, but maybe it's okay. But then when you look at a typical shot and compare it, although those are probably two quite grey ones, I don't mind, especially if your daughter is 9, I don't mind if you helped her edit, but I really feel like these had the same preset applied of slide all the colors to 11, Spinal Tap style, slide all the shadows down to be super crisp, and then maybe dial up the clarity so it looks like the world is on fire. Again, I feel like this has potential, but has been overdone. Like, a lot overdone on the editing.
Is this hell? Supposed to be hell?
I didn't know hell would have a lighthouse. I thought they would let you hit the rocks.
Maybe like the lighthouse is kind of like signaling like, hey, you're supposed to come here. But the birds are very detailed. Well, not detailed.
Oh, what is that emoji? Have I hurt Rick Mahoney's feelings? I'm just, I don't know what that emoji actually means. For any of this feedback, keep 2 things in mind, and I'm not going to like backpedal on what I said, but one, it's our opinion, it's not a fact. We're just a couple of chumps sitting in a rented studio talking about what we think.
Yeah. If you like it, you like it. That's your style.
And I'm only saying it for constructive criticism. Like, it's not like I thought it was so bad I didn't put in the show or anything. Just in my taste, it's over edited. So that's what I'm getting at. But I think the composition on this one works really well, but I feel like if it weren't pushed, it doesn't look real. It doesn't even look like a painting anymore. It just looks over edited. So if this had more natural colors in it, I think the rising sun behind the lighthouse is, it's nicely composed. And this one feels a little bit like the previous one with the street art.
But I like this one.
There's nothing holding me at all in it. The focus, I guess, is these grates up here, which there's nothing.
I'm trying to think, does this really scream weather? I wish it was clearer to see like if there were like water droplets, like just ripples. But
like in the foreground.
Yeah. But it's hard to tell.
I mean, it definitely says winter. Maybe there's some symbolism in that what's in focus is the drain for getting rid of all of that water, and then all of the grayness of this is due to that weather phenomenon of heavy rain. I don't know, I just feel like it needs a subject. I don't know. What do you guys think on this one? I don't know, it's extra confusing by having the focus up here rather than somewhere closer where we could maybe see the reflection of the building or the vivid sky, that kind of thing. Oof. Is that a cloud? It looks like there's like a ship on fire behind the lighthouse.
I was gonna say the lighthouse farted.
And then you looked at me and thought, should I actually say it? Should I say this? I'm gonna say it.
Screw it. I'm just gonna say it anyways.
Okay, Steph thinks that the lighthouse farted. There you go. I bought her a gift yesterday, which was a little dog.
Oh, it's right here. Should I take it out?
Sure. Just be careful of all of the things. I mean, it's weather, and that it's lighthouses exist because of the chance of bad weather. Ooh.
I think that was poop.
Let's stop talking because this crinkling is probably going to
Drive people on.
So it's, they can't see it there.
Oh.
You want to hold it?
Yes.
So it's one of those little balloon dogs, but then behind it you have a little balloon poop.
It's poop.
Steph is a crazy dog person. We were at a doggy daycare yesterday and saw these, and the owner was so sweet, so I got Steph a gift.
Yeah, and its shit's gold. Get it?
Yeah, like the goose.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put you here for now. I'll put you away later. Good boy.
I don't know. I don't know if having the clouds stacked up right behind it works that well. I think it kind of works quite well, but then if you had the whole cloud in the background, the top of it it feels like it's just been cropped off at the top. This is one where if you're able to choose the background, so maybe let's actually do the sky. Yeah, maybe you can pop your lighthouse a bit. That's probably too much, but you could add a little bit of drama to this. I feel like the lighthouse shots work if it looks like there's impending doom of some kind.
Cloud is very interesting though. It's like,
if it's a cloud, it looks, I don't know, I guess it's a cloud, but it looks, the way it's framed up, it looks funny to be vertical like that.
yeah.
And then this one, that's the shot.
That's the shot.
Yeah, that's not zoomed in. And I kind of really like it. You do get those kind of wispy sun patterns through the clouds. Like I remember when I was living in Brooklyn, and you'd get some sunsets that were just this vivid. The red still looks a little bit pushed too far, but
does it scream weather?
No. But so weather is clouds, rain, lightning, overcast, that kind of thing. So this is more, it's clouds and sunset, something like that, or sunrise. So I wouldn't say that it screams weather, so I can't say that it's going to be a winner, but I think it's a really pretty thing to put on the wall. Now I gotta say, I'm going to have trouble choosing a winner this week. Let me go out to have a look at all of them.
Oh, that's the last one?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Oh man, which one?
I think it's going to be this one or this one for me. Well, it's that one I cropped in. It's about seasons, but then, you know, that's clearly tied to the weather when you have spring coming through winter. And then this one with my edit on the clouds there, let's go back to their original edit. But so it's got to be which is a great shot and which also is all about weather. Yeah, I think it's got to, actually it's probably this one or the lighthouse. Yeah, they're my two. They're clearly about weather. The editing is solid. There's no distractions.
Yeah, I was gonna go with 2.
Huh?
2.
All right. I think I was leaning towards this one being my favorite and this one being my second. But that's Steph's favorite, so we'll make them both winners.
Hey.
And not to diminish your winning, congratulations, but I would say overall with fewer entries you end up with fewer really, really strong shots, and this time, you know, maybe there was a lot of last minute entries. So let's not do it last minute next for April. I'll update the page right now. The theme is, let me switch back to our big cute faces. The theme is going to be shadow, which is like, oh, there's mine. Oh, Oh, it's trying to run away.
Wait, but I don't have.
You're a ghost. No, a vampire? No, a what? Maybe just too skinny for your shadow to show up. The light wraps around you.
Oh wait, there we go.
There you go. So please don't leave it till the last minute. We'll have the comp open for all of April. Who knows where I'll be at the end of April? Maybe back in Australia seeing family, maybe in Hong Kong with family. And I may even have the course that I'm working on with Steph out in time to be a prize for that one. We'll see how it's going. Yeah, so shadows, mattgranger.com/live. You can enter your shot there. Now let's take a look. There were a few more questions here to answer. It's 11:40 here, so we can give it another 10 or 15 minutes. Carsten Larson, Matt, have you had experience with people stealing your work? Probably every week or every 2 weeks. This morning I woke up to find a Instagram page, and I don't know if you can call this stealing. I really don't get it. I know it seems if you tag someone, you're giving them permission to share it, but to repost it, I don't know what the deal is on that. But this page that basically takes shots that they like and then re-edits them into little videos and gives credit of who's the model, who's the photographer, and that's their entire page, is that they breathe new life into other people's work. But they didn't ask me if it was okay. They didn't talk to me beforehand. They just made this little animation that I think is not great, the way it's been done. And then it's up there. But then is it worth, I mean, I'm not losing anything because of it. But then, yeah, I've used websites that will search your images across the internet and found that, I mean, I think I shared it a couple of months ago. I found someone was using a whole bunch of my intimate portraiture images in their portfolio to sell their services as a boudoir photographer. And when I contacted them, it was a whole thing anyway, and they of course wouldn't take responsibility and then blocked me and that kind of thing.
So basically there's no easy way to handle it.
There's some services, and I had started to kind of look at if I should do some kind of partnership, one, to take care of it for myself, and two, to introduce to you guys. There are some services out there. It's a bit labor intensive. You have to basically upload the 1,000 shots that you think you want to search for. Then they'll search the whole internet for it, and then they'll contact the websites or the owners with takedown notices and legal fees. And then if they manage to get money from them, you get most of it. I can't remember the percentage, but then basically it's just kind of all automated.
If you do go through with that, I would like to know that service too, because I know my photos, they get used a lot. And at least it's my face, but the photographer never gets credited, and it's really annoying.
Gotcha. Rick will take my old cameras. Colin Cameron, do you play D&D, or are you more Warhammer? I don't play either. I don't play.
I see you, Colin.
Are they computer games or
I don't know
board
Warhammer,
games?
but D&D is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, but is that a board game or is it an electronic thing now?
You could do both, depending on what you have available.
So no.
But I play with Colin.
There you go. Yes, you said that. No. I don't. Am I missing anyone's question? But there was a question. No, Carsten's was about having things stolen. Okay, I don't know if I see any other questions. If I've missed one, then I apologize. We have a couple of hours now to get the rest of the things set up for our workshop. It's going to be really great. Looking forward to meeting the students we have today. So check out, I put out 2 new videos this week, one on the Q3 and one on the Nikon 85mm, comparing it to some other lenses. So you can check those out in the, I guess when this finishes, maybe it'll suggest them to you. Yeah, get your shadow theme shot in, and we'll be in touch with our 2 winners.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
And we should actually show their names. It was Dirk Hessis with this one. And why is it not moving? And Carsten. So there you go. See, that's what happens when you tune in. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Oh, and by the way, happy wedding anniversary to my parents. That's also
Aw.
today. Bye.
Bye, guys.
It's been a minute. How do I stop this? Here.
What?
Bye.